Let's move on now to the New York Giants and our 2023 NFL Draft review. But before we get into that, if you have not already, hit that subscribe button and ring that bell to get notified when we create new content. Right tonight, we have a goal of getting to 2,000 subscribers by the start of the NFL season. So if you like our Giants content or want to see more Giants content, NFC East content, be sure to subscribe, ring that bell. And Ryan, let's get into it.
Let's do it.
The Giants, I like what the Giants have done just in general. I think even including the offseason, and now I think they had a good draft that will help prepare them to the future. They extended Daniel Jones. They franchise tag Saquon Barkley, which did he end up officially signing that yet? Actually,
he hasn't yet, from what I've heard.
Okay,
it sounds like he's going to. He just hasn't yet. So
okay, yeah, he might. I could see him maybe holding out, trying to get some guaranteed money and a little more security over the next couple of years, which I understand. I understand that's the nature of the business. But in general, though, I like some of the receiver signings that they had. I brought back Darius Slayton. Jamison Crowder, I think, is a good veteran piece. Same with Paris Campbell. Trading for Darren Waller is nice. Well, on the defensive side of the ball. And so then when you relay that then into their approach for the draft, they really honestly knocked out their needs like on every pick. Personally, like starting out, let's just go with the first one, Deonte Banks being available there. All of the top 4 receivers had been taken off the board. I think they maybe could have gone receiver here if they didn't go in order like that from JSN all the way down to Zay Flowers. Even that being said, though, I even if, like, let's say Zay Flowers was available, I wonder if they would have taken him if they still would have taken a corner, because I think he kind of fits into what they already have. And so I'm very curious about that, but that's a total hypothetical. I like that Deonte Banks pick, really addresses the secondary, and he's a starter day one.
Yeah, no, I like that pick a lot. He was definitely a first-round corner. One of the things I liked about him so much on tape was his physicality. But he's physical, but he also ran a 4.36, so he has the speed to mirror and match wide receivers down the field. And if you're a DB's coach, it's definitely a lot easier to teach a guy to be less physical than more physical. Mm-hmm. And so he definitely has some reps. He grabs on and holds people, sometimes throws them to the ground, but neither here nor there. But I like that pick a lot. And another pick that I really, really like is their second pick in John Michael Schmitz. So they don't currently have a center on their roster. And to me, John Michael Schmitz was the cream of the crop this year at that position. And to get him all the way down here at 57, I think is fantastic.
Yeah, no, he's a starter day one for sure. At minimum, he's definitely competing for a spot. I'm trying to even think. It's not like they've signed any offensive linemen in free agency, so I need to go and check what their depth chart is. But still, I think he's a day one starter, especially for them and what they're looking for. I do like the value of these next 2 picks that they have. Jalin Hyatt, I think, is good value there. I know what I said about Zay Flowers, but this is where I think getting him at 73, Hyatt, if he works out, and I think he, with his speed, really opens up and stretches the field for Brian Daboll to kind of use his offensive mastermind to create space, create opportunities, like how we saw with the really lack of talent in the receiving room that led them to the playoffs. So I think he helps them stretch out the field, and I think he can develop into a good receiver. I like the Eric Ray pick as backup just for Saquon Barkley, because they do have Matt Breida that they re-signed, but I think he just adds good depth, and I think if something were to happen to Saquon, I think he can kind of help contribute some of the slack that is lost.
No, yeah, I agree. I'm going to backtrack a little bit, go to Jalin Hyatt. If you followed this channel, you would know that I'm probably not the biggest fan of Jalin Hyatt. However, here at round 3, pick 73, I think that's actually pretty good value. You are still getting a Blitnikoff Award winner, even though I believe he really is a one-trick pony and he was schemed open a lot of times. But going to Brian Daboll, I think he's going to be able to scheme Jalin Hyatt open and get him in space where he's going to be able to create foot races with corners and try to win those. So
that's my thought exactly, is like you were saying that a bunch all offseason. I don't disagree with you. But then in this instance, though, like Daboll seems to be one of the best at scheming plays open and scheming players open. Mm-hmm. And if there's a guy who's like he needs to be schemed open, well, it's like I think they can have some fun because he's quick enough to get off the ball and create separation. So I think there can be some magic that's made. I think he can be a good addition for this offense.
No, yeah, and I do like that addition there as a complimentary piece. There was a lot of hype that he was in the top tier of receivers, and I 100%
No, he's never in
disagree with.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, people are he's a Blitnikoff winner, and like he should be going. He should be in that discussion with Quentin Johnston's, Addison's, and Flowers. I'm like, no, like he's not that. But Eric Gray, like you said, I think that's good depth at the running back position. And then to round it out, Trey Hawkins, cornerback, Old Dominion, Jordan Riley, defensive tackle, Oregon, and Javarius Owens, safety from Houston. Just some good depth pieces. Nothing too major there. Javarius Owens was at the Shrine Bowl, and he was more of a box safety, pretty physical, kind of rocked up a little bit. But I like those picks. I think they're good depth. But let's go ahead and get into our grade here for this class. And so we actually agreed. I know, Mom, Tyler and I finally agreed on something, but we both gave them B pluses. I think you look at this; they have 3, maybe 4 day one contributors, and I think definitely 2 of those guys are starters in Deontay Banks and John Michael Schmidt. So I think you look at the rest of the draft classes, that is a really solid haul from this year's class.
It's definitely a top half class. I was honestly borderline between A- and B plus. Mm-hmm. There was like a middle range in between there. I probably would have gone in there because I would say that they are probably like 10th, 11th of the overall best class. It's not even anything wrong with their picks. It's just I think some of those other top ones, they just knocked them out of the park. Also, some of it might have been just because of where they were drafting, because also they were worse teams. So, and the Giants, like their real thing was like this interior offensive line and then secondary. They've improved on the front 7 a decent bit. They need a little bit of help in the secondary. I think they got that with Deontay Banks. Offensive line still was atrocious. And who was their guy from Alabama that they drafted? Evan
Neal.
Evan Neal did not have good years. Hopefully he can have a sophomore improvement, so to say. Yeah. And then John Michael Schmidt can come in and just bolster up that offensive line. Because if we're being frank, if the Giants, with what they were able to do with that offense last year, if they can just get a good offensive line, get Saquon Barkley some space and some room to run with, then this offense can go places because their defense is good enough to shut down a lot of the teams. And I still think the Eagles are definitely the best team in the NFC, definitely the best team in the NFC East, but they can absolutely contend with them, I feel. If they can if they can solidify this offensive line.
Yeah. And that to me, I think you look at what happened in the NFC divisional round with the Eagles and the Giants. I just felt like the Giants kind of got outclassed. Daniel Jones was under a lot of pressure. They couldn't really get a rhythm going. And I felt like this draft puts them at a much closer to the Philadelphia Eagles than they were before. And granted, the Eagles definitely did some things. We're going to be making a video on that as well. So they did some things that might have pushed them even further away in the end. But I really like what the Giants did in this draft. I think they definitely got better. And I think 2023, I think they should hopefully expect to be right back in the playoffs.
Yeah. So, I think so as well. The NFC is not very strong. So, like at minimum, they will have a wild card spot.
Yeah. But let's go ahead and wrap up the Giants draft recap there. If you guys have not already, please go down below and like, comment, and subscribe. Tyler and I, we are trying to hit 2,000 subscribers by the start of the NFL season. So if you could help us reach that goal, that would be very much appreciated. And other than that, we will see you guys next time.